Hi, welcome back. Certainly glad you could join me today. You got your old brush warmed up and ready to do a fantastic little painting? Good. Tell you what, let's start out today and have them run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with me. And as usual, they'll come across in the same order as I have them laid out on the palette, starting with the white and working all the way around. So let's go on up here and let me tell you what I've done. I've got my normal old canvas up here, and I've covered it with a thin, even coat of the liquid white, so it's all wet and slick and it's ready to go. So let's just do a nice little painting today. It's such a beautiful day. Maybe we'll do something with some warmth. And let's take a little alizarin crimson here. And we'll just use this old 2-inch brush. And just tap a little bit into the bristles, like so. And tap the bristles firmly here. That assures a nice even distribution of color all the way through it. Let's go on up here. Maybe right up in here, we'll just put a little bit of pink in the sky today. When you're doing this, be careful that it doesn't get too bright on you. This crimson is quite strong, and very quickly it can take over your whole world. And we don't want to set this sky on fire. All we want to do is create the illusion of a nice little glow up in here. That's all we're looking for. It's a beautiful little glow. Maybe today, maybe let's do some nice mountains today. That's always fun. I enjoy mountains very much. I lived in Alaska for about a dozen years, and it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. Certainly God was having a good day when he made Alaska. It is unreal. Now then, let's take, we'll use a little phthalo blue. What the heck? Won't even clean the brush. We'll just add a little bit of phthalo blue right on there. The blue is much stronger than the crimson, so you can add it right on without cleaning the brush, no big deal. Then we can go up here, and using our little crisscross strokes, let's just lay in a happy little sky all the way across, just like so. There. And just let it come right down to this pink area. Once again, the blue's so much stronger, it'll just eat up any of this pink that you cover. You don't have to worry about it. Now then, maybe we'll have a little water in this one too. What the heck? What the heck? While we have this old brush going, let's add a little bit more of the blue. Just a little. And let's go down here in the bottom. And maybe our water lives right down here. Just pull from the outside in, like so. There. A little more paint. And just pull. Now, we'll have still water today. And still water is always flat, it's always level. So try to keep these strokes as straight as possible. You don't want your still water to be going uphill or downhill. You want to keep it as straight as possible. There. Let's wash the old brush. That's a fun part of all this. Okay. We wash our brushes, as you know, in odorless paint thinner. We shake off the excess and just beat the devil out of it. Okay, now with this nice clean brush, all we're going to do here is just blend these colors together. Still using the little X strokes or crisscross strokes or cross-criss strokes, whatever you want to call them. There we go. And we'll go gently across the water also, just to bring it all together. There. Okay, shoot. We have a happy little sky. Let's devote most of our time today into doing a fantastic mountain. I get so many letters from people, and mountains are just about the favorite thing going right now. So let's try that. Let's try that. We'll take a little phthalo blue, a little alizarin crimson, and mix it together. And this is very dark. It'll look black on the palette. So take a little bit of white, and then check it out and see if it's what you want. Maybe we'll add a little bit more crimson to that. I want a lavender color, but I want it to the blue side. Pull it out flat, cut off our little roll of paint. Lives right out on the edge of the knife. Let's go up in here. Now you have to make your first major decision. Where does your mountain live? Let's come right up in here. Maybe our mountain starts right here. And all you do is take the knife and firmly, you can probably hear how firm is it, firmly push in a basic shape. And the only thing we're interested in at this point is just the top up here. We could care less what's happening with the bottom. Don't worry about it at all. Don't worry about it at all. I said big mountain. I wasn't kidding, was I? This is going to be a big mountain. Maybe it'll come all the way over here. Now we're scraping off all the excess paint. There. And scrape it hard. This old canvas is tough. You're not going to hurt it. Don't worry about hurting it. Just really get in there and scrape it. Now we take a clean, dry, be sure it's dry, 2-inch brush, and I want to pull that out. That'll do two things. First of all, it'll make the mountain lighter at the base than it is at the top, which is exactly what we're looking for. Secondly, it removes excess paint. It makes the next layers much, much easier to apply. Much easier. If you have a lot of loose paint on there, then it's difficult to make the next layer stick on top of that. There we go. We'll just let it just blend right off into nothing over here. There we go. Now one thing that's very nice when you do your painting, this little bit of pink that's left down here at the bottom, if everything works just right, that'll look like mist. So try to save that. It can be your very good friend. There we go. Maybe it sort of looks like a natural place to, maybe the light's coming from the left side today. So let's just take a little titanium white. Let's make a mountain that's very easy to make. We'll take a little white with a little touch of blue in it, but very little, just enough to cool it down a little. Maybe even a little bit of black into it also. There, it makes a nice bluish gray color. Ooh, that's nice. And don't overmix it, leave it sort of marble. And I've got the small knife, thought I'd use it today. But once again, our little roll of paint. And let's go up in here and begin making some decisions. Think about where the light's coming through here and just zinging and playing and having a good time. And maybe it comes right along in here. There. Just begin applying all your little basic shapes. Just think if you were a sunbeam and you were zinging down the valley down through here, where would you hit? There. So this is a very simple way of making some nice mountains. There we go. This little knife, I like it because it sort of gets into all the little places here, and you can make all these little doers. Just all kinds of little things. Wherever you want them. Once again, just think about where light would strike and lay it in. But there's not a lot of paint here. Not a lot of paint. There we go. See, and if you don't like one, you just rub it and it goes away. There. And down at the bottom here, I want it to just disappear. So here I'm applying quite a bit of pressure. Up on the top, no pressure. But as you work down, I want it to disappear. So there I'm adding more and more pressure. So just sort of experiment a little and see what works well for you. Think about where all these little shapes and highlights would live. There. And you can put as many or as few as you want on your mountain. There we are. In Alaska, there's a lot of mountains that look like this. And they're so beautiful. As I mentioned earlier, I'm sure God was having a good day when he made Alaska. There, maybe there's a little bump there. You can do that just by taking the basic shape of the knife and putting it in. Let it just sort of disappear back here. And then once again, more pressure down here. And you begin to see how that little pink area is showing through. And that's what's going to create that illusion of mist down at the base. You could do this with a large knife if you wanted to. It works just as well. I just sort of like this little one for things like this where you want a lot of detail and you want to create shapes. You can paint entire paintings with these knives. There. Okay, see, and just sort of think about it, let it go. There. More and more pressure down here. But see, it's really very simple. It's a matter of angles when you're working on these mountains. That's really all it is. It's just a matter of angles. Maybe there's, look at that. See, maybe there's a little thing right there. Wherever you think they should live, that's exactly exactly where they should live. Right. Maybe over in here. A few more little doers in there. Just wherever. And you can put all kinds of little details. It's up to you. Up to you. Painting is as individual as painters are. There's as many different ways to paint the same scene as there are painters, as many different ideas. It's really an individual thing. So you can add a little dark here and there, not a great deal, just enough to give some little indications of some shadows in those deep areas. Don't want a lot in there though. Okay, maybe right in here. Just rub it a little and you can just blend it together, just using the edge of the knife. There. Now, if you've never painted mountains before, this is one of the easiest ways that I've ever came up with to make very effective mountains very easy. Let a little bit of that light color just pull back here and there. And here I'm using the small edge of the knife. Use both edges. That's why it has two edges on it. And that way you can create all kinds of effects. All right. And that's basically all I'm looking for. I want that mountain to be far away and distant. Let's have another one right here. Shoot, that works so nice. Or let me show you something here. You could take the brush. If you wanted to create more mist in this area, you could take a brush and tap it, and then gently lift it. But always follow those angles that you've created. There. Okay, now then, same color. Come right over on this side over here. Let's have us a nice mountain. It lives right there. Okay, let it come right on down. Wherever. Maybe it comes down here. Maybe bloop. There's a big drop off right there. Like so. See, just sort of let your imagination go. Mountains grow in every kind of shape. Just whatever happens that day, let it happen. There. Maybe it comes right on down in there somewhere. Now, if you want this mountain to look closer, it needs to be darker. So I'm going to put a little more paint on this one than I did that one back there. So I want it to be darker, stronger. There we go. Maybe it'll go like that. And there, all we're trying to do is just put color on the canvas. You could put this on with your shoe. It doesn't matter. Just apply the color. Now we'll take this brush and begin blending it out. Grab it and blend it. There. Think about the angle, though, that you want it to flow, how you want it to flow. And just by using brush strokes, you can create all kinds of little things happening in here. There we go. But by using this angle, it gives you that impression that the mountain, the lay of this land on this mountain flows in that direction. That's exactly what we're looking for today. I want those mountains to look like they just flow right down the side there. Okay. Good. Very gently, very gently. Just bring it all together. Okay, shoot, let's wash the brush. And we wash our brush with odorless thinner. Shake it off. And just beat the devil out of it. Tell you what, let's do. Maybe take a little of that titanium white that I had here. Maybe right in here. Let's just lay a little white. That has the least little touch of the phthalo blue in it. Maybe there's a little snow or a glacier or something that lives in there. There. But I don't want it to be pure white all over. I want it to be like shadows. I don't want it to be too bright. Put this in first, then we can add a few highlights here and there if we want them. There we go. And then we could take a little bit of the pure white and just highlight this. Let it just bounce. Very gentle. Barely caressing the canvas. Allow the paint to break. It'll create all those little things in there. There. And just let it follow those angles. Like so. Okay, we can take our large brush then and very gently, just blend it together. But this is 2 hairs and some air. And I think I'm going to put a bunch of trees in there, so most of that's not going to show. So don't spend a lot of time worrying about it. Let's build us a tree. We'll take some black, some Prussian blue, very dark, a little Van Dyke brown, a little bit of the sap green. Shoot, you can throw in a little crimson too if you want. Mainly a good dark color. Good dark color. Okay, let me wipe off the old knife here. All right, let's make some evergreens with, we'll use a fan brush today. We'll go right in here, load a lot of color into the brush, both sides, back and forth. Just really fill it up. Let's go right over here. Now you have to make some big decisions again. There. Our tree lives right there. Take the corner of the brush and just go back and forth, just like so. There it is. Them son of a guns live right there in the bristles. All you got to do is sort of shake them out, like so. There. Maybe he comes right down there. I don't know. Wherever. Just give him a friend. You know me. I think everybody needs a friend. Could be the most important thing in our lives. There. My mother was with me in Alaska for about a year, and she fell in love with the place. Maybe one of these days her and I'll get to go back up here. She's a super lady. Well, she was born and raised in the South, and when she got to see Alaska, she had never seen scenery like that. So she was as fascinated with it as I am. Now, if you have trouble making this paint stick over the top of all this white that you have back here, add a little paint thinner to your color, but right on the brush, but very little, very, very little. You can always add more, but once you thin your paint down, then it's a son of a gun to try to get it back. So just add a tiny, tiny little bit. Maybe there's a little baby tree. He lives right there. Right there. Maybe that's his mama. All right. Okay, let's see here. Maybe, I'll tell you what, maybe there's another little tree right there. Let your imagination just take you wherever you want to go. Shoot, you can put as many or as few trees as you want in your world. There. Shoot, let's have a big tree right there. We'll have a whole forest, it looks like here. Now, in painting, one of the biggest things that I like about doing paintings is to show depth and distance. Each one of these little things here creates another plane in your painting, so it looks fun. Let me show you something. Let me show you. Maybe if we wanted to create the illusion, I'll just use that same color. I just want to show you how to create depth in your painting, because that's very important. Let's just take a little of that color with a little titanium white on it. Maybe in our world we want to show another plane here. If you wanted to, look here, you could just come right in here and create another layer right there, just by doing that. We'll put it behind the tree. See there? And when this painting is done, hopefully that'll come out to look like a whole nother layer. Now then, I'll just create a little mist at the bottom of it with a clean brush. I'm going to lift it up in very short little strokes, make it look like little distant trees and stuff. It's way back here in the distance, very quiet. Now watch here. Watch here. Let's go back to our fan brush. Now if you put trees in front of that, it'll push everything back. It'll push it back. Let's have another one right there. See there? Now leave some space so you can see through here and see that there's trees behind. Look at that. But see, now you can see distance in there. Maybe there's, let's put one little crooky one there. There he is. Poor little guy. All right. Now, let's put something underneath here for all this to sit on. We'll just use that same color. It doesn't matter. Mainly we're looking for a nice dark color. Nice dark color, that's all. Something about like so. And let me grab another fan brush here. I have several of them going. Let's take a little yellow, a little bit of that color. Grab a little sap green, mix in there. There, maybe a little more of the sap green. I want that a bit, oh, there we're looking. That's what we're looking for, dark green. Let's go up in here and let's see our light's coming from the left. Our mountain tells us that. So let's add some highlights here, a little more on the left than on the right. There we go. Give these little trees some nice highlights. There they are. Use the other side of the brush. We can do that one. There. Now don't kill all the dark. Don't kill all that dark. That's what makes these evergreens so nice, is the fact that they're dark. It creates contrast in your painting. There. There we go. Forgot this one. Don't want to leave him out. A rascal will get mad. Nothing worse than a mad tree, I'll tell you. There. A little bit up in this one. Shoot, we've got us a whole forest here. Let's use a 1-inch brush now. Maybe there's some nice bushes that grow right in front of these trees. We'll just push in some color. There we go. Wherever we want them. Wherever we want them. There. Okay. Now, I'm going to use another 1-inch brush. I'm going to add a little touch of paint thinner or liquid white, either one to it. And let's go right through this yellow and green that we had here. That's sap green, cad yellow. We can pick up a little Indian yellow, a little bit of the yellow ochre, all those yellows. I want to make various shades of green. Pull that brush in one direction, load a lot of color into it. See, when that brush is sort of rounded, you pull it this way and then turn it over. And it's rounded. Look at the end. There's a lot of paint there. All right, let's go up here. Now, let's come right up in here and let's begin creating all kinds of individual little bushes and trees that live back here in front of these evergreens. Just push them in. And if you have trouble making this stick, add a little bit more of the liquid white or paint thinner. If you use paint thinner, though, add very, very small amounts. In a heartbeat, it'll get you paint so thin that it'll just run. Very, very small amounts. Here's a little right here. Wherever you want these little rascals. A little more of the yellow ochre, just to change the flavor a little. But do one bush at a time. Give them names. There. So we travel around the country talking with people. That's one of the questions that people talk about over and over. They have trouble making these bushes. And the problem normally is that you try to do too many at once. I know sometimes it looks like here we just take off and we sock in 50 bushes at once, but they're one at a time. One at a time. I'm going to take a little bit of that green and yellow and mix it on the 2-inch brush. Let's have a little land under here. There we go. There we are, see? Angles are most important here. Most important. Wherever you want this to go. A yellow ochre in there, or Indian yellow. There. Now then, shoot. It's all right. Tell you what, let's have a reflection in there. All you gotta do is grab the bottom of that and pull it down. Just pull it straight down. It's important that it goes straight down now. Let all those little colors just go right into the water here. There. But straight down. There. Come across. And that quick, we have instant reflections. Now then, take the knife. We use a little Van Dyke brown. Maybe there's a little bank in here. Just bring it wherever you want it here. Like so. Here and there, maybe it runs up into there. Okay. And then you take the fan brush with some of those same yellows and etc. Pop in a few little grassy areas right at the bank. Right there at the bank. If you want to reflect a little of that in there, grab the least little amount of it and pull it down. Least little amount. Not much, not much. And very lightly, once again, just go across. Like so. Maybe we'll have a tiniest little bit of waterline. I don't want much in this. I want to keep it dark as possible. A little liquid white on the knife, and drop it in. There. So I say we travel all over the country and get to talk to people and do shows for PBS. And if we ever get to your area, shoot, come and see us. I'd love to have the opportunity to meet you and talk with you and see photographs of what you're painting. So if we do get to your area, stop in and see us. There. Let's have a little bush lives on this side of the water. Maybe he lives right there. Right there. Create a little reflection like that. Go across. A little bit of highlight on this bush, the yellows and the greens. Like that. That quick you can create a little bush. Put a little bit of land under it, and we're about to a finished painting. There we go. I think we'll put a little water line under there, call this one finished. A few little sticks and twigs. That's all there is to it. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Hope to see you soon also. From all of us here, happy painting. God bless.